ladies and gentlemen, today we need to talk about something that isn't just news, it's history in the making. Something that's already sending shockwaves through global economies, oil markets, and even national securities. Iran has officially shut down the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical waterways, and guess what? The world is not just watching, the world is panicking. The Strait of Hormuz is not just a waterway, it is one of the most strategically critical passages in the world. When Iran shuts it down, the impact is immediate, massive, and deeply felt across the globe. To understand the severity of this move, we need to understand what this narrow strait really represents. It is only about 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, but its significance is wider than the ocean itself. This is the passage through which almost **20% of the global oil supply flows daily. That's nearly *1/5 of all oil traded worldwide **. We're talking about close to *17 million barrels of oil every single day making their way through this small stretch of water connecting the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, and then out to the rest of the world. This isn't just a trade route. It's an economic artery Countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Iraq, and Kuwait depend heavily on this route to export their oil to international markets. The moment Iran blocks it, it's as if someone suddenly cuts off oxygen to the global economy. There's panic in the oil markets, and prices start to skyrocket. Investors rush to safeguard assets, while countries that depend on oil imports feel the pressure instantly. It causes a ripple effect that touches everything, from gasoline prices at your local pump to the cost of food transported by fuel, dependent vehicles, to the stock markets around the world. Suddenly, economies that were already walking a tightrope after inflation, global wars, or post-pandemic recovery find themselves shaken all over again. But it doesn't end at oil. The Strait of Hormuz is also a passage for liquefied natural gas LNG particularly from Qatar, one of the world's leading LNG exporters. Many countries in Asia, especially India, Japan, and South Korea, rely heavily on these energy supplies. The disruption of this route means energy insecurity, rising utility costs, and a heavy economic toll on households and businesses alike. If this closure persists, it could trigger a global energy crisis one that might take months or even years to recover from fully. Now, let's not forget the psychological warfare at play. When Iran shuts this strait, it's not just about physical control, it's about making the world feel vulnerable. The symbolism is loud and clear. If you threaten us, we can shake the entire planet. This act amplifies fear and uncertainty. It's a geopolitical statement wrapped in an economic shockwave. The moment this news hits global media, panic isn't limited to governments or oil companies. People panic. Social media explodes, investors withdraw, stock markets drop, political tensions flare. It's no longer just Iran vs. the West. It becomes a global emergency Every hour that the strait remains blocked, tankers sit idle, millions of barrels of oil go undelivered, and the world economy becomes more fragile. Insurance rates on oil shipping spike. Military ships patrol the area, increasing the chance of direct conflict. And while leaders meet in high-level summits, the rest of the world waits and wonders what comes next. The Strait of Hormuz may seem like a dot on the map, but its closure proves how deeply connected the world is. A move by one nation can unravel economic threads that bind us all, and in this tightly woven system, one choke point like the strait can choke the world, not just economically, but emotionally, diplomatically, and strategically. When Iran shuts the Strait of Hormuz, it isn't just an act of resistance or retaliation. it's a trigger for panic, uncertainty, and potential conflict. And while the world watches for what Iran does next, everyone is already feeling the aftershocks. When Iran decides to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, the world is forced to ask a critical question. Why now? This wasn't a random decision. It wasn't impulsive. It was a *** calculated move ***, born from decades of tension, years of pressure, and months of provocation. To understand Iran's motives, we have to look at the *** bigger picture ***, a picture that involves global politics, economic sanctions, and a power struggle that has been simmering for years beneath the surface. At the core of this bold action is *** Iran's long-standing conflict with the West ***, particularly the United States. Over the years, Iran has been slapped with heavy economic sanctions, accused of developing nuclear weapons, and politically isolated from international trade networks. Its oil exports, one of the country's main sources of income, have been blocked or reduced drastically due to international embargoes. As a result, Iran's economy has suffered. Inflation has soared, its currency has lost value, and the average citizen has felt the pressure of a crumbling financial system. In many ways, Iran has been cornered ***, and when a nation feels cornered, it looks for leverage. The Strait of Hormuz is Iran's leverage. It is the pressure point it can press to make the world listen. By shutting down this vital trade route, Iran is sending a loud, unmistakable message. You can hurt us with sanctions, but we can hurt you too. This is Iran's way of saying that if it can't export its oil or engage in free trade, no one else will either ***. It's retaliation with global consequences, but there's also *** national pride and sovereignty ** involved. Iran views itself as a strong regional power, a nation that refuses to bow down to foreign dominance. Its leadership has consistently portrayed Iran as a symbol of resistance against Western imperialism. In this context, closing the strait isn't just a reaction, it's a *** statement of strength ***. It tells both its citizens and the international community that Iran is not weak, not passive, and certainly not afraid to take bold steps in the face of aggression. There's also a strategic layer to consider. Iran knows how dependent the global economy is on the Strait of Hormuz. It knows that countries like the U.S., China, Japan, and European nations rely heavily on the uninterrupted flow of oil through that route. By blocking it, Iran forces global powers to ***, take notice ***. Suddenly, the same nations that were pushing for tighter sanctions must now reconsider their stance. Do they escalate further and risk war? Or do they return to the negotiating table? Either way, Iran gains a form of control over the conversation, a position of influence it hasn't held in years. This move could also be linked to *** internal politics ***. Leaders under pressure often turn to dramatic actions to rally national unity. By taking a firm stand against perceived foreign oppression, Iranian leaders can strengthen their domestic image, silence dissent, and distract from economic problems at home. Nationalism is a powerful tool, and moves like this can stir strong emotional support among citizens who feel their country has been unfairly treated by the world. Finally, Iran might be testing boundaries. How far can it go before the world reacts? Will global powers respond with military force, or will they try to negotiate? This kind of brinkmanship has long been part of Iran's strategy. It operates in the gray zone ***, pushing limits, causing disruption, but stopping just short of all-out war ***. It's a dangerous game, but one Iran plays with confidence, knowing that its geographic location gives it unmatched strategic leverage. In shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, Iran isn't just retaliating, it's asserting itself. It's declaring that it will no longer be bullied, that it can and will disrupt the status quo when pushed too far. And while the world scrambles to understand what happens next, Iran has already made its point clear. Asterisk respect us or face the consequences. Asterisk when the news breaks that Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz, most headlines focus on oil, politics, and international relations. But what often gets buried beneath those headlines is the human cost of such a move. Panic isn't just reserved for presidents, oil companies, and economic analysts. It spreads like wildfire into the daily lives of ordinary people, people like you and me. The ripple effect of this geopolitical decision isn't abstract. It's painfully real, and it hits hardest where we least expect it. In our homes, wallets, and daily routines. Start with fuel prices. The moment global oil supply is threatened, prices shoot up. It doesn't matter where you live. Whether it's New York, Mumbai, Tokyo, or Johannesburg, the increase at the fuel pump is immediate. This price surge affects everything. Transport becomes more expensive. Flights are costlier. Food that travels long distances becomes harder to afford. Ride, sharing, trucking, cargo shipping. All essential services see a cost jump. And it's not the rich who feel the weight first. It's the everyday families, students, single parents, and small business owners trying to stay afloat. The panic grows because people know how fragile the system is. We've seen it before. Remember how small disruptions during the pandemic caused massive shortages? Now imagine that on a global scale, but with fuel and energy. Countries dependent on oil imports find themselves scrambling to secure backup plans, but those take time the public doesn't have. Gas stations start running low. Electricity costs rise. In colder countries, heating becomes a luxury, and in warmer climates, power cuts become frequent because energy infrastructure can't afford the rising fuel bills. But it's not just financial, it's emotional and psychological . People start worrying about their future. Parents worry about how they'll feed their families. Workers fear layoffs as companies try to cut costs. Young people feel a growing sense of instability in a world already full of uncertainty. Social media platforms get flooded with fear-driven content, misinformation, and endless speculation, only feeding the anxiety further. The emotional toll is heavy, and it can trigger unrest, protests, or even violence in areas already strained by economic hardship. In countries already dealing with inflation or debt, the situation can quickly spiral into crisis. Governments might be forced to ration fuel or raise interest rates to combat price hikes. That means people can't afford loans, can't pay off mortgages, and can't grow their businesses, and it's not limited to oil importing countries. Even oil-producing nations suffer if exports are disrupted or if military conflict breaks out in the region. There's also the human risk in terms of security and safety . Panic breeds unpredictability. People hoard fuel, black markets emerge, transport trucks become targets, ports become congested, military movements increase around the Persian Gulf, the world becomes tenser, and the margin for error shrinks. A single miscommunication between naval ships could spark a conflict that no one wants, but everyone fears, and let's not forget the long term effects . A child whose education is disrupted because schools can't afford energy. A small shopkeeper who shuts down because deliveries can't come through. A family that slips into poverty because of soaring utility bills. These stories won't make international headlines, but they are the true cost of conflict . This is what real panic looks like. Not the numbers on Wall Street, but the quiet collapse of ordinary lives. Iran's decision to shut down the Strait of Hormuz sends shockwaves across the globe, but it's not just a political move, it's a humanitarian issue. And in the middle of that chaos are people, struggling, fearing, adjusting, and surviving. While world leaders meet in luxurious conference rooms to discuss strategies, millions live the consequences . That's why this moment is more than just a crisis in the headlines. It's a mirror showing us how deeply connected we are, and how easily that connection can break under pressure. When Iran shuts down the Strait of Hormuz, the global stage is forced into action. This is not just a regional problem, it's a direct challenge to global stability, a sudden test of leadership, diplomacy, and wisdom. The eyes of the world shift toward the leaders of powerful nations. What they do next doesn't just determine the outcome of this crisis. It defines the world's ability to manage chaos, avoid war, and prioritize peace in a time of intense pressure. The closure of such a vital waterway immediately demands a response. But here's the truth. *** military force is the easiest option. **. It's loud, fast, and shows power. But wise leadership isn't about reacting with fire, it's about using strategy, patience, and diplomacy to prevent the fire from spreading. The challenge here is not just for the United States or European powers, but for a global alliance. Nations must come together, not to overpower Iran, but to defuse the situation before it spirals into something irreversible. World leaders must ask themselves critical questions. Should we confront Iran aggressively, or can we bring them to the negotiating table with mutual respect? Do we escalate the conflict and risk a full-scale war in the Middle East, or do we apply pressure in smarter, more diplomatic ways? True leadership lies not in flexing military muscle, but in showing *** restraint, responsibility, and readiness for dialogue. This crisis is also a test of ** international unity. Global institutions like the United Nations, the G7, and OPEC now find themselves at a crossroads. Can they rise above politics and national interests to take unified action? Or will conflicting agendas weaken the global response? It's in moments like these that alliances are either strengthened or shattered. Countries that once stood together may now find themselves divided over how to approach Iran. Some will push for aggressive sanctions or military blockades. Others will call for compromise and diplomacy. The outcome depends on whether unity can be preserved in the face of high stakes. Economically, leaders must move quickly to stabilize oil markets. Strategic petroleum reserves may be released. Alternate trade routes might be explored. Support packages may be announced for countries most affected by energy shocks. All of this requires foresight and quick action. Any delay, any indecision, and the panic spreads faster. This is not just about managing supply, it's about managing ** trust and confidence ** in global systems. But perhaps the most difficult part of this test is dealing with the ** public narrative **. People across the world are scared, they're angry, they want answers, they want action. Leaders must communicate transparently, calmly, and with empathy. They must show that they are in control, not just politically, but emotionally, because in a time of panic, confidence is as powerful as any policy. A leader who can ** calm the storm ** with words and actions becomes a symbol of hope in the chaos. This is also a time for new leadership to emerge. Smaller nations, regional influencers, and diplomatic powerhouses like Switzerland, Turkey, or even India could step up as mediators. Voices of peace, often ignored in times of war, become essential. A country that helps build the bridge between Iran and the West could change the course of history, not through force, but through dialogue and ** moral authority **. Ultimately, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is not just a military or economic challenge. It's a ** test of human wisdom. Can we, as a global society, choose peace over provocation? Can we lead not from fear, but from intelligence and empathy? The world has seen too many wars sparked by ego, pride, and miscommunication. Now we need leaders who choose patience, who see diplomacy not as weakness, but as the ** strongest form of strength **. This is that moment. And the world is watching. Friends, this isn't just an oil crisis. It's a human wake-up call. Let's stay aware. Let's stay informed, and let's never underestimate the power of peace over panic, because the world doesn't need another war, it needs wise warriors. Thank you.